Alrighty, we are live.
Woohoo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I am Meryl Clemo.
We have an awesome show for you today.
Yeah, and I like this. This is I think the earliest we've recorded, but it's exciting to see you so early in the morning, and I'm drinking my instant coffee. So,
You know the interesting thing? Now you're slow again.
no,
Oh my goodness.
why? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. We're gonna hold on, everyone. Okay, I don't get it. It says my Wi-Fi is strong.
I wonder if it's a delay with the YouTube, but we've never had that problem before.
No. Okay, so
You know what? Let's try having you log out and log back in again.
Okay.
While on YouTube and see if that helps.
Okay.
For everyone watching, please be patient with us.
I'll be right back.
For anyone watching, please be patient with us. Just waiting for Meryl to get on, and we will get started.
Okay.
All right.
Am I here? I feel slow. I don't know why this feels slow.
Actually, you're perfect.
Really? I feel slow in general.
All righty.
Do you think I am? Should I try?
No, actually, you're good.
Okay, I'll tell everyone again, just so they hear it, that my instant coffee is like really, really strong. So that plus a slow internet connection is going to be interesting today.
Yeah, I may have to upgrade to a different platform for my streaming. So no biggie. We'll figure that out. But let's go ahead and get started here.
Let's do it.
Everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Meryl Clemo.
We have an awesome show today. A lot of great stuff.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to start off because I want to start with a topic that I think is probably going to arouse a lot of people's inquisitive thinking. I wanted to find out from you, Meryl, and even from people watching. Okay, Trina, who is a real, I believe she's a reality star, possibly maybe music. I have to look a little bit. She made a comment saying that her husband must check with her before spending one dime of their money, and he cannot do anything without her consent. So people are going ballistic, saying how disrespectful this is, and one woman made the comment that, well, if he made that same comment, we'll be trolling him. But she made the comment, and they're like high-fiving each other. I'm kind of curious, Meryl. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that if it's good for one, it has to be good for the other. And I agree that if we wouldn't like it very much if a man said that about any woman, or, a man said that about a man. No matter what the genders are, it seems like in a marriage that is a not very balanced thing to say. Of course, I think it's funny, and just from a strictly comical point of view, I think that, and I don't know how truly true that is. I'm sure maybe he spends like $20 here and there, or goes to the grocery store. I think that's just a little bit probably of a exaggeration. So we don't know, but if it is not an exaggeration, then that's a little not fun of a relationship, I think, too, for probably both of them. Because I don't know. I mean, my boyfriend and I keep our finances pretty separate, except for some joint purchases. And I feel like I don't know, to me, when you're an adult, you should be able to make your own choices financially and not have to check with someone on every single purchase. But yeah, that's I mean, I think it's funny because it's good for a woman to say that, but I also like don't know what type of man or anyone like willingly is in that type of situation.
No, I hear you. I mean, for me, I guess if your relationship, because some relationships, they, do like what you do. They'll have their own accounts and then one joint account for both.
Yeah.
There are some relationships where they have everything into one pot, and then some where they keep everything totally separate. And to me, there's no right or wrong. It depends on what works for your relationship.
Right.
I personally think that statement, the way it was said, was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because, even though, some people were joking about it online and stuff, but if a man made that comment, oh my God, would he trolled and just, this guy's horrible, he's misogynistic. So I agree with you. You can't make that statement unless you want that statement made about you.
Right. It's almost like a childless cat lady type of thing to say. But
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, that is kind of emasculating. And I think a different way to rephrase it could be like, I'm the main breadwinner. We always check with each other about the finances, and he doesn't really make any decisions without me, and I don't make any decisions without him. That would be more understandable. But I think, I don't know, it's kind of funny. And I don't know, maybe some people and men like to be like financially dominated. So I think, there's that whole category called findom type thing. And so maybe that works for them. Maybe he like likes being kind of having no power and financially, and like, unless she gives the okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like with me and my wife Tracy, one of us takes care of the finances, but everyone's aware of what's going on, and neither one of us are going to make any major purchases without.
Right.
Now, every day-to-day stuff or whatever, of course, we don't have to check in with each other to buy stuff, But I mean, we're talking about going to buy a car or something. Yeah, I think we should talk to each other first.
Yeah. Yeah, same with us. If it's like something that we should know about, but then every now and then my boyfriend will get like swords delivered to the house or like Civil War memorabilia or something, and I'm like, I don't even know like what is arriving, and I don't know how much he spent on it, nor do I want to know. And then the flip side too is like, I'm out with friends a lot. If I spend like $60 on a meal or something, I don't want to be questioned about it, or like why I'm eating oysters in the middle of the day at a pool. So yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that video and see people's comments on that.
I know. Good for that person though, because honestly, before I had not heard of her. So I also think like that's a funny publicity stunt, if just a way to get yourself in the headlines.
You know what? I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point though. That could have been a publicity stunt.
I would have never, Trina would have never come to our thirsty topics if we don't have it.
That's true.
Okay, well, another kind of controversial situation is that the official poster for the movie Wicked, starring our girl Ariana Grande, sparked controversy when it was discovered that AI was used in its creation. Basically, a fan made an edit and changed it. Like, I think that what they were trying to do was kind of make it pop more and like raise the colors up a little bit, make it brighter. But what they did was pretty much take out all of Cynthia Erivo's like facial expressions and her face. So Cynthia got very upset, understandably, and basically said like, there's a reason that my face looks this way in the original poster, is because like she made the choice to basically like stare down the barrel of the camera lens and connect with the audience that way. And so to have her kind of washed out and her features gone made her obviously feel upset. Ariana spoke out about it as well and said kind of the same thing, that it's a complicated situation, as we all know, because as we move forward, like, AI, it's a big thing for people now on TikTok to remake logos and try to make them better and remake album covers. And so we're getting into interesting waters here where, like sometimes like the fan stuff is better than what it actually is, but then also you have situations where now fans are going up against like the studio spending millions of dollars on artwork and consulting and, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that the fan meant well. I don't think it was no ill.
Right.
But you have to be careful when a production puts stuff together. When they put a logo together, they do coloring and stuff. There's a lot of things that go on in the background. Now, I'm not a major studio, but I do understand the concept of what they do and why they're doing
Yeah,
what they're doing. And what you may look at as being harmless, could kind of rub that studio the wrong way because you made a great point. They spend big, big money to do what they're doing.
yeah.
And, if your stuff goes viral, it may rub them the wrong way and have the opposite effect of what you wanted to try and do.
Exactly. I do think, like, obviously, like, I think keeping Cynthia's original facial expressions would have been better, and like doing that. But I do think the original could have been brightened a little bit, and it was like,
Mhm.
I think what the fan was trying to do was just to make it pop a little bit more, which it didn't as much. But I think they probably didn't understand the other implications of what happens when you go along and do that, and almost trying to erase the actress. And like, I don't think it was that deep for that person just trying to like make the green a brighter color, but it was still something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, AI is not going anywhere. AI
I
is,
know.
in fact, AI is being used on almost anything right now. Most people are not even aware of it, too.
Yeah. How do people know if it's us or just robots talking right now?
That's true. Well, I can assure you, we're not using AI to talk.
No, but if we did have a poster together, I'd be very happy if someone would like pixelate it and make it brighter and everything. But I also understand that's a tough spot for Ariana Grande to be in. I mean, I'm not feeling bad for her, but I understand when asked about that question, like on a red carpet, there's really no great answer that she could give, because if she said like, I hate it, it's terrible, no one should make fan art, then she'd have a whole bunch of people mad at her. But if she said, I love it, it looks better, then obviously like her co-star is upset, and she's would then be like giving her blessing to pretty much manipulating a lot of images. So it's
Yeah.
it's tough for like probably people that are like the CEOs of companies and stuff to sometimes be humble and say, okay, this design actually is a little bit better, and maybe we'll tweak ours to look like that, versus like staying stubborn on what they originally created.
That's true. That's true. I think people also have to be aware, too, especially when it's done by a fan, that it may not be the original,
Yeah.
especially AI now, just basically keeping that in mind as well, too.
And at first it was so funny because at first I was kind of judgmental, and I was like, who has time to create like a movie part? And then I look at like what I do in a day, and I'm constantly on Reddit, like looking at people's relationships, and like, I'm like, I'm doing that just without the talent, and I'm not actually making any art. I'm just like looking at like podcast reviews on Reddit and stuff.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this doesn't get to the point where it gets out of hand, but, it just makes us think.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Talking about making us think. Interesting story that's out now. In fact, it's been all over the news and social media. Former uh, Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges.
Yeah.
Um, this is very, very troubling, obviously, for a number of reasons. To kind of give you a summary, a lot of major news outlets are reporting that back when he was CEO, he would basically bring in a bunch of young men and tell them, hey, this is part of you being able to make it. You have to do this interview. The interviews are unorthodox, where you're these sex parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, um, you're having to. I'm trying to keep it clean for the for this here. You have to do certain things in order to
Mm-hmm.
make it. And there was a woman who used to work in one of the stores and said when they came in and they pointed to a poster saying you need to hire more people that look like him. And I know they had issues years ago with people getting angry with them about um, their thing of only hiring um, pretty boys or pretty people or whatever like this. I don't really shop there a lot, so I didn't even know all this was going on until the big news came out. But the thing that's interesting to me is you're kind of seeing things happen over and over again. Kind
Yeah.
of
Yes.
Kelly with Sean Puff Daddy Combs,
Yeah.
now with Mike Jeffries, and you kind of ask yourself, you know, are these truly one-offs, or has this been happening in the industries for a long time and we're just not just now starting to see it.
Well, some of us have been calling it out for years, but we've been labeled as crazy conspiracy theorists. So, I sent that article to some friends. I'm like, it's almost as if there's a group of elite individuals that like are not acting in the interest of the public, and like go back to when we got into a fight about it in like 2017. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny because, like you said, it's happening. It's a repeated pattern that we're seeing, and especially in fashion. With like a few weeks ago, we talked about like the Brandy Melville documentary about just how trashy their leadership was. Same with Victoria's Secret. I know their leader had that whole documentary about them, and like were exposed for a lot of bad things. I know Abercrombie had that reputation for like skinny, pretty boys, and kind of like we're too pretty for you, and I think lately they've really done a great job of rebranding. And now when I go into the stores, I see like all sizes, and people that are working there are really, really friendly. And it seems way less kind of snooty and like scary like it was back in the day when we were, growing up or whatever. So it makes sense. And it just seems like there's so many creepy leaders out there that I'm hoping this is like the time that we flush them all out, like you said,
Yeah, I think also what's happening too is a lot more people are feeling a lot more comfortable with coming out because, years ago, these men had real power. I mean, they had the power to destroy your career.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were scared to say anything, but I think now there's they feel confident in that they can speak without having the negativity and the things that would happen years ago happen now, because there's a lot more people, one, that are going to believe them, and two, that are going to look into this.
Yes. And I think too, now there's like competition in the market for brands like Abercrombie, for like brands like Good American that are like run by a lot of women and that seem way more inclusive, and it doesn't seem like they have the controversy. So it's almost like the brands that are being run by the snaky guys are going to be left behind, because it's like the new dawn of, consumers will choose brands that are a little bit more ethical now. So it's like they almost, even if they don't want to, the reality is that they're going to have to kind of get right with their leadership too.
That's a great point, because one of the things I always say is, and I have told my son this, is never ever work for a company that you hate.
Yeah.
That will take years off your life, and it will destroy your health. And
yeah.
not only physical, but mentally as well too.
Definitely.
I mean, I know a lot of people working at companies where, and it's sad to say this, but they're literally terrified to say anything there.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to be in that situation?
I know. And I think people used to be like that because there was no other option, and they were like, well, I just have to work and have a job. But more and more companies are offering solutions where it is like more ethical. So I think the Abercrombies are just going to be like left behind if they don't catch up. But yeah, that's so creepy and sad. And it's just, the 90s were like such a weird time thinking about what everyone just kind of took as like, okay, I guess this is the store where everyone looks like a model, and like you feel like it's a club that you can't get in.
Yeah. And call me crazy, Merle, but I think that there's probably going to be some more bombshells that come out within the next couple of years. And I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
I think a lot of people are starting to feel more comfortable talking about this out loud. And I have a feeling that this is not going to be the last that we've heard of, leaders doing things like this.
Definitely. And I think if it's not for one thing, if it's not for kind of the Diddy type accusations, then it will be like for the way that it's made, like Forever 21, like the fast fashion and just how it ruins the environment. And so I feel like it's kind of coming apart at the seams. No pun intended. But yeah, like I think fashion in general, like how the Brandy Melville thing about how so many of their clothes are like made really poorly and then they end up washed ashore. So it's like, and their CEO sucked and stuff. So
No, I hear you.
Times.
I just feel sorry for I feel sorry for the people that had their lives destroyed because of this, though.
Yeah, me too. I know.
And you made a great point too. I wouldn't say a lot because most people were kind of scared, but there were a number of people that talked about this years ago. And, like you said, they were either ignored or you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can't say that anymore now.
Exactly. And to be like an Abercrombie model in the mid 90s was like one of the best things you could be. So it's like not in real life, but in terms of modeling or like status or whatever. So I could see how some people would endure the negative side effects to be like, okay, this is humiliating and awful, but like on this other side, I could say one of these like elite fashion models. So
true, very true.
Crazy. It sounds like everyone needs a hug, and where they should go to is good transition is the New Zealand airport. So I love this story. The Auckland International Airport in New Zealand has introduced a time limit on goodbyes, encouraging people to say their farewells more efficiently. The airport management claims that the new measures aim to improve traffic flow. They were saying like a few minutes is okay, but I forgot this. My window just closed, so I forgot if they actually said the time. But like, after 2 or 3 minutes, move it along. Basically, is what they were saying. And this decision, obviously, some people are like, yes, let's go. The 1 minute of a hug and you're fine. Other people are like, what if it's my son going off to college and I need 15 minutes to say goodbye? Or what if it's someone like going away for a year or something? Like maybe we need 10 minutes. I would not expect this, but I like this. I think there should be a limit. And I'm like,
wow, Merle.
I know, because there should never be a limit to how much you love someone, but there could be a limit to airport behavior because like they are trying to move people along at a busy airport. And I think like the hellos and goodbyes could be done off site, go to the beach, go to a diner, like just drive a mile and say your goodbyes and then, hug someone. I feel like everyone should be given 3 minutes and 20 seconds at the most. Because we've all seen the couple like lingering at the airport. And I'm just like, he's gonna cheat on you anyway. Just go away. So yeah, you get 3 minutes to like say goodbye or say hello, and then you got to keep driving.
I kind of see both ways, and I think there's a middle ground there. Say, okay, you know what? Give them maybe a couple minutes. After a couple minutes, we're going to start moving people in front of you until you're done.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going for a quick business trip, that's one thing. But you made a good point as far as, if your kid's going off to college, or let's say they're going off to their assignment in the military where you might not see them for a year or two, depending on. I could kind of see them wanting to hug a little longer. But at the same token, yeah, you shouldn't hold up the line too. So I think that's a happy medium. And then let them decide,
I
you're
do
either going to move along or, we're going to start having people get in front of you until you're ready.
Exactly. What if they create like an emotional area? That'd be like, there's like the cell phone lot and the waiting lot. I feel like there should be like the long goodbye lot or the long hello lot.
We laugh, but that would actually be an excellent idea.
Yeah. And they could get sponsors for it. Like I feel like they could make money for it.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I could think of a lot of brands that would probably really be able to use that.
Yeah. I mean, I also think too, having some type of structure like this is better than, because right now, like when the LAX is just like beyond a disaster. But like I fly in and out a lot of the San Diego airport, and it's like, it's even more jarring to get beeped at constantly when you're saying goodbye. So I feel like if everyone knew their limit and kind of had some type of structure, then we'd all let each other give uninterrupted, like, goodbyes. Because right now what happens is you hug someone and then 10 seconds later people are beeping and honking and like the traffic person's coming over. So I feel like having structure is good, especially at an airport, because otherwise everyone's just like acting a fool.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, most of the time at the airports they're pretty good, but there's times where like I'll drop off my son going back to college, and I kid you not, I literally just park. And they're like, okay, come along.
Yeah.
You don't want to be this asshole. They're like, I just literally parked. Dude,
I know.
Let me at least put the car in park first.
Yes.
Let my son out.
Yes. I know. And it's always like, and I understand why that person's all amped up, but it's usually someone with like a whistle and they're like, come on. I'm like, hold on. And that makes people nervous and like probably might even cause some accidents if someone's like, not people aren't looking. And so this is why I think the 3-minute hug rule should be instilled.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a pretty good time. 3 minutes is actually a pretty good time.
Right? That's more. And if your son's going off to college, I would hope that people have their emotional goodbyes like at, the day before or at breakfast that morning or, if people are doing it for the first time in the airport, we have some talking to do.
Good point. Good point. Hopefully, somebody from the airlines is watching us, and maybe they'll hire us as sponsors. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes.
Talking about sponsorship, this is a good one here. All right, the big buzz now, especially after the Netflix documentary movie, or however you want to call it, of the Mendes brothers, has now sparked interest in either having them resentenced, a retrial, or something to the effect. So there's this big obsession. The obsession goes from a lot of posts being made online, and to the point to where they actually have the Mendes brothers costumes.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think about all this? Do you think this is a good thing, or do you think we're kind of we're kind of forgetting why they're in prison to begin with? What do you think?
Yes. I mean, I think it's such a compelling story, and this is definitely such a Hollywood type case that in some ways I think it's glamorizing it, but it also is shedding an important light on the abuse that they endured. And I think we're ready to hear that now as a community. I feel like a few years ago we may have not cared, or like the empathy may not have been there, but I feel like it is the perfect time for people to learn and understand about what they did to their parents, especially like, after Gypsy Rose type situation. We've had some other stories that are like cousins basically to this one. But I do think, like, I watched a little bit of the Ryan Murphy one, and I think making it into like a Hollywood character is a little bit overdoing it. But there's also like, that's the way that right now we're going to get people to understand that too. If it was just kind of dry news, I don't know if people would be paying attention as much as they are with it. But I mean, and as far as costumes, I feel like people are always going to pick like ridiculous. I saw that though. I saw a video of someone. There was a group of friends, and one person was dressed as Moo Dang, and then other people were. It was Sabrina Carpenter, Moo Dang, and the Menendez brothers.
That's a heck of a party right there.
Yeah, isn't it? I'm like, I kind of want to go wherever they're going, but yeah, I think it's a little weird, but like, I don't know how many people, like, I don't know anyone in my life that is glorifying them, but I do know some people that are changing their minds a little bit on like, okay, maybe they did a horrendous act and they are criminals, but also like all the stuff that we didn't know behind the scenes is also true, and that, sheds a different angle on it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a number of ways to look at this. As someone who was both physically and sexually abused as a child, I kind of understand that side of it more than the average person. And if it's true that, and it's, I don't know how true it is, but supposedly there was things left out of the original trial that would have had an effect on the outcome of that trial, whether it being either innocent or guilty, or even the sentencing. And if that's true, then yeah, you got to retake a look at that.
Yeah.
Now, by no means am I condoling what they did, but if they truly were abused, and people knew about it, that again, I'm not justifying it, but when you've been abused like that for a long time, you're in a dark place, a very, very dark place. And yes, most people don't go to that extreme. Most people do think about that when they've been hurt that bad.
Yeah. Well, and understandably, and if you're not, if you don't know how to get out of the situation and you're too young, or like you feel too alone, that of course is going to seem like the path. And of course, if you have all these feelings, I'm sure, towards the person or people that are doing it to you, that's just a natural, almost like a natural survival instinct, I would think.
Yeah, because most times people who have been abused, they tend to learn how to block it out of their memory.
Yeah.
And most survivors don't even tell anyone until they're well into their adulthood. I never told anyone what happened to me until I was well into my adulthood as well. So that's actually not uncommon. That's actually, sadly, more common than you think. Hopefully, in this new age now, you're not having that. But most people back then, when it happened, pretty much held it to themselves.
Yeah. And imagine, like, Yeah, and these two brothers, like what it showed, at least from the movies, is like they were talking with each other, and it's almost I could see how it would almost grow as like a fire if you're talking to someone else and you're like, this can't be done. What should we do? And then you have like built compounding ideas on each other, and then all of a sudden, what seems like an insane idea becomes like a plan.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And when you're a child having stuff happen to you like this, until you start to get older and understand, in a sick way, you think this is normal until you figure out it's not.
Yeah, yeah. And that their therapist just was so crazy how he was involved too. The one that the Menendez therapist, and it was just like it seemed like at this case, and that's what I mean. There were so many interesting slash like I don't know, not juicy, but different details to this that I could see how they would want to bring it back and resurrect it. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I'm thinking that they're probably going to have a decision pretty soon as far as whether or not to either retry the case or resentence them. I don't know. We'll see. It's
I
going to be
know.
interesting to see. No matter what happens, I'm quite sure that it will be headlines.
Yes, definitely. I wonder if like, what do you think about this? That in our time, if we'll ever see a different category, which is like, it's not a crime of like passion or insanity, and it's not premeditated, and it's not like self-defense, but it's kind of like a different one where it's like lengthy abuse, basically like a retaliation to lengthy abuse. But
You know what? Actually, I can see that happening.
yeah,
Because really, you know, I know people don't like labels or anything, but you could kind of pretty much put this into emotional trauma, is what it
oh
is.
my gosh, yeah,
So yeah, I can kind of see that. And you have to ask yourself, how would the average person react to being treated in such a horrific way?
right, yeah. Like I don't think we should hold that to the same standard as we do of just people that don't have to endure abuse or like crimes that are just out of nowhere.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. But the one positive thing about this is that it is bringing awareness to sexual abuse,
Yeah,
and hopefully, can minimize and maybe even one day eliminate it altogether.
absolutely. Ugh. Okay, well, we'll have to. I feel like each week we're gonna have a new Menendez thing. It's gonna be interesting, like how it twists and
Hmm.
turns.
Oh yes.
And like growing up, I forget how. I mean, I was definitely I was way younger when that happened. I mean, obviously I was younger, but like I don't think I really paid attention to like who they were when they were on trial or anything like that. But the way it
Yeah.
painted them is just like very bratty, like almost Zoolander type face, like Abercrombie and Fitch type models. Like that's what I thought of them as, like just these like cold hardened monsters. But it's like, okay, maybe they were boys that were just abused and had enough and like had to get out somehow. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and I think people have to understand too, and I use this analogy all the time. If you won the lottery, okay, and let's say you won, let's say $10 million. If you win that at 18 versus 25 versus 35 versus 55, you're four different people.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Your thoughts and your process as far as what's important or whatever. At 18, you win $10 million. Yeah, you're probably going to want to go out and buy, a 200,000,
Yeah. Yeah.
try and, bling, get the ice and everything. Versus if you're 55, the process is okay. Let me pay my bills off. Let me get my investment set up. Let me think about generational wealth for my kids, grandkids, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole concept of reality is different versus where you're at in life, because that life experience is very important.
Except when I'm 75, I'll be back to thinking about the bling. And I'll and
There you go.
if I'm 85, I'm like, let me just like do heroin off a roller coaster or something. So yeah, I agree. We'll keep an eye on it too, because I think it'll be very interesting. But I don't think either one of us are going to be dressed as like Lyle Menendez for Halloween anytime soon.
No.
If I had to guess, no. Okay, well, this is really interesting. I think you and I both love music so much, so I loved reading this. Good news for Two Live Crew and their creative property. The hip hop group Two Live Crew, pioneers of the genre, of rap and hip hop. They recently secured a victory in a legal battle over the rights to their intellectual property. So they challenged censorship laws and fought to maintain control over their catalog. And the right to profit from their works, which it's crazy that musicians even have to fight to profit for their own songs and their own publishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the legal case centered on whether or not they retained copyright ownership. They've been disputing it for years and years, and it went through. So they won, and now they are. I think there was 2 people left in the group, maybe, but the ruling represents a significant victory not only for Two Live Crew, but all artists striving to maintain control of their creative legacy. So, I mean, those guys have to be up there in age, I assume, but I'm very happy to see a rare win in music for the artist.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, child of the 90s, and don't judge me, but I love their number one hit, All Me Some Horny.
Oh, such a great song. That's a perfect 90s, just the music of the 90s like that. I mean, that's just so perfect.
And I remember when they were going to court and they were being challenged on their lyrics and stuff like this.
Yeah.
What a lot of artists have to understand is, groups like Two Live Crew, NWA, EPMD, those type of groups right there, they have actually paved the way for you to be able to do the art that you want to do today.
Yes, 100%. And they did their marketing all on their own. Everything was grassroots.
That's a great point, because back then they didn't have all the fancy people helping them do all this stuff. They literally did everything on their own.
Yeah. They had to be performing for people in front of outside at parks and going one by one and probably playing to 50 people at a time. And
oh yeah,
and I mean this is definitely really good for copyright. Because I know a lot of people lose money on it gets so tricky with publishing rights and copyrights, and I feel like by the time it gets funneled down to the artist, it's pennies.
Yeah, and the thing is, you'll hear people say, well, the labels have to make money. The labels don't lose on deals.
No, never.
and I'm not saying, and don't get me wrong, I get it. They have to make money. There's nothing wrong with that. But everyone should make money. If you're making, let's say, $10 million off this song, everyone should be benefiting, especially the person singing the song.
Yeah, yep.
Because, you have the singer, you have the composer, you have the writer, you have the producer, you have the label. There's so many people with their hands in the cookie jar that, I think an artist should be getting a nice, decent sized chunk.
Definitely.
I mean, 5 cents, 2 cents, or whatever per dollar is bullshit.
I know.
Bullshit,
And I feel like a lot of times labels will be so tricky, and if they sign artists for a 5 record deal, then record number 4, they won't promote it all. And then basically you have these wonderful pieces of art that are just shelved, and the artist can't do anything with them. They can't promote them. It's really sad. There's that artist JoJo who has a really interesting story about that, and how she re-recorded her masters, kind of like how Taylor Swift did. I think she even did it before, but it's horrific just to hear the things that they do and the deals that people get locked into.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, excuse me, the biggest thing, and I would say this, is you can have the best voice, have the best lyrics and everything like that. That's important. Obviously you got to have talent, but none of that matters if you don't have a great attorney. I know people cringe because they don't want to spend the money, but let me tell you, if I'm making $100 million for your label and, I'm making $200,000, I'll be pretty pissed.
Yes.
I'll be pretty pissed. So, and the thing is, years ago, it used to be the big thing where, they offer you this record deal. Oh, you're so excited. And they put this contract in front of you and they're like, oh, sign. And they're telling you what's in the contract instead of you getting a lawyer. So the lawyer could say, okay, this is in this contract, but here's something that we need to change.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
someone that's really looking out for you and
mm,
touring too. I know like that's what happened with that one girl group that I love so much, Fifth Harmony.
mm.
When jokingly on stage, like someone asked for advice once, and one of them said, like, read if one piece of advice, like read your contracts, and they pretty much almost joked that they had to go on tour as like indentured servants, you know, like they were making so little, and like I forget where I heard it, but even one of them was saying that for all the songs that they had and everything, like one was only making $4,000 a month, like total, you know, and that's like we think of these people as living in these Hollywood Hills houses and like making millions of dollars each month, and it's just that's crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to hire some because the other thing that you have to do too is when I say hire a lawyer, let me clarify this. Get your own lawyer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. Not the
sometimes
labels
labels will be
lawyer.
like, well, you know what? We'll get you a lawyer. That's not your lawyer.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like that person's pretty much the devil, like the industry, music industry labels lawyer.
Yeah. So yeah, get your own lawyer. And when you come up with the name of your group or what you want to call yourself, copyright your name yourself. Don't
Hmm.
let the label do it for you because if they do it for you, they own that name.
Yep.
You remember years ago, Prince was having a beef with his record label, and
Yeah, and he wrote,
he had
didn't
to
he
change
write
his
like
name
slave
to
on?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And a lot of people did not realize that Prince didn't own the name at the time.
yeah, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
So yeah, you have to that knowledge in the music industry is and not only music, but just entertainment in general. You have to know your rights. And if you don't know, get around people who do.
Yes, find a good lawyer. We love that. See, and especially like in the hip hop genre too. How you said too, no other genre has like really put themselves so forward so much so that now this generation can learn and profit from them. And I feel like
Mhm.
I'm so happy for Two Live Crew because otherwise I could see them being just like people that are, you know, we see a lot of bands that are on tour and it's kind of like very sad older artists that you could tell they didn't really make the right decision. So I'm happy that I hope this like really benefits them.
That's true. This is definitely a feel good story. I love that.
Between this and hugging, I'm trying to raise our vibe a little bit.
There you go. Now this is it could be a feel good moment or it could be an angry moment depending on how you feel. But it's a big thing now where sea lions are taking over the coast in California. Some people love it, they think it's cute. Some people are angry because they feel that these sea lions are getting a little on the aggressive side. So,
Yeah.
being that you live in California, what do you think about this story?
Okay, I have lots of thoughts on this. I'm a well-versed sea lion queen here. So in San Diego, especially, that's where I just went for a walk with my parents this past weekend in San Diego. I mean, my mom works at SeaWorld, so
Oh,
we know,
nice.
yeah, so we know that. And she loves it. And I know people like over the past couple of years, SeaWorld obviously had some bad publicity because of like some of the blackfish type situations, that documentary. But like I can say from knowing my mom, obviously, like what she does is that SeaWorld does so much rescue and like education where if a seal or sea lion is injured on the beach in San Diego, the SeaWorld team will go and rescue it and rehabilitate it. And like they have really good programs for getting animals like back up where normally they might not make it. Like they just had this little dolphin named Cardiff, and the dolphin couldn't it didn't really have flippers that worked, so they used two pool noodles and pretty much made like little makeshift flippers. And like now Cardiff is like the happiest dolphin and very friendly. And so I see with my own eyes that like they have good living conditions. But
Mhm.
anyway, SeaWorld is its own controversy, but that's all to say that like the marine life is very strong in San Diego and in Southern California. And there's this place in La Jolla called Children's Cove, and there's like lots and lots of seals. And for years, it's been very like up and down. Of tourists will come and get really close to the seals to try to take selfies, and sometimes the seals are like sick or injured, and it's really sad when there'll be like a really emaciated seal that's clearly not doing well, and tourists will get like really 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 inches close to the seal and like scare it, or just be unhealthily close for it. And then if the seal bites, then it's like now the city of La Jolla has to go and do a bunch of stuff. It also smells really bad. Like, sea lions in general and seals just don't smell great, especially when they get together. So that's kind of a thing. But to me, I think like if you just leave them alone and let them be in their habitat, they really will also do that. A lot of times they're very playful. Like if someone is kayaking or paddleboarding, they'll come and play. But I feel like seals have a wonderful way of just kind of saying, hey, if you leave our colony alone, we'll like be cool to you. But people get bitten when they go too close, and especially if they have like a pup around that is injured or sick, then they, you know, the mamas and the dad seals will get pretty aggro.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it goes back to common sense, because I know we talked about this previous episodes where people have this affinity with, okay, this creature is cute. Let me go.
Yes.
Let me go touch it. Let me go be near it. Okay, they're still wild animals.
Yes.
You know, I'm no marine expert, but I do know enough to that if you leave them alone, they leave you alone.
Right.
When you get next to any type of cub, whether it's a sea lion, whether it's a bear, it doesn't matter. The mama is going to be very, very protective.
Yeah.
Okay. And you get too close, they're going to let you know. And then the sad part is that when they snip at you or whatever, then all of a sudden, you know, oh my God, this is a crazy animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really only doing what they naturally do.
I know. Yep. And where there's seals, there's sharks. So, I wouldn't want to be, you know, especially in like, there's some cities like Encinitas and Southern California, but kind of coastal by San Diego. There's like more and more sightings of sharks because there's also so many seals, and you just kind of don't want to be in the mix with them, especially in the water as much. But but yeah, it's a lot, and it's really cute to see. I mean, it's so wonderful to just watch a family full of seals and watch them be lazy and like, you know, move their flippers. And so I think we're lucky if people are coming to Southern California, like to enjoy the movie that is kind of these like wonderful creatures, and they're so funny, and sometimes they'll fight, but to learn that like no one cares if you get a selfie next to a seal. Like no one cares as much as we think you do. Like a picture without you and just the seals from far away is like just as nice, if not more beautiful, than like seeing your face up close with the seal.
Oh, I agree. I mean, the thing is that there's nothing wrong with enjoying nature from afar.
Yeah.
Okay? There really is nothing wrong with that. And believe it or not, they know you're there. When you're from afar looking, you're no threat to them. So they just go about their business. You start coming closer to them, they're going to perceive. And here's the thing, you don't know if they're sick or injured. That's the key.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're going to be in protection mode at that time. And then again, like you said, you know, they end up biting or doing something. Oh my God, this is a crazy animal and something needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of them will have to be like put down, or, you know, it's not good. I feel like years ago when like the selfie was kind of new, it was amazing to see someone get like a selfie with a moose or something. But nowadays, it's like it just shows that you're kind of stupid. So you know what I mean? If someone's like next to a reindeer or something, or like a elk, I'm like, okay, I don't know, it just is weird. I think now it's cooler in terms of photography of getting a shot of like just the wildlife and not having to be like, look, it's me and a bear. You know, it's kind of like that's passe. So yeah.
That is true. Not only does nobody care, but
it's not trendy anymore. Exactly. Yeah, it's cringy now. So that was yours. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Oh, on to another cute animal, but with missing some stuff. A bulldog puppy born without a butt was given a life-saving surgery. So a bulldog puppy named Lucky was born without an anus. That's right, you heard that, and faced life-threatening complications. However, thanks to a life-saving anus surgery, the little pup survived. Obviously, people were shocked and relieved to hear that he went through the successful surgery. And I never knew that someone or something could be born without an anus, but here we go. There's something for everyone nowadays.
That's true. I think it's a great story because, you know, years ago, a dog like that would be just put down.
I know.
They wouldn't even try and save him. So I think that's a great story.
I think it's so sweet. If I could donate my anus to every bulldog puppy, I would. Somewhere out there. Sorry, I don't know why. I think I've gotten completely mentally ill, but yes.
It would be one hell of a gift.
Yeah, that's true. I don't maybe like to a seal out there or something. I could use a pool noodle. But that's so cute. I feel like we need more stories like this. Yes.
Yes, we do. That is a feel good story. Now, here's another story. It's not so feel good, but unfortunately, a lot of Taylor Swift fans are realizing that their tickets have been stolen right out of their carts or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And this phenomena has been happening for some time now, where it looks like people have went into people's accounts and moved or transferred those tickets to a different account.
Oh, wow.
And the thing that's interesting about this is, one, I'm surprised it's on social media, but you haven't heard her too much in the news and stuff. That part surprises me.
Yeah.
But I know that Ticketmaster was under a lot of fire recently because the government, a lot of other people feel that they're dominating the industry because pretty
Hmm.
much everything goes through Ticketmaster.
Yes.
And you buy a ticket for $50. Next thing you know, you turn around, it's like, wow, why is this $92 all of a sudden?
Yeah. It's like convenience fee, $15 service fee. Like, I'm like, what is convenient or servicing about any of that?
I would love to know, and this may make me sound stupid. What the hell is a convenience fee? I never
Yeah.
understood that.
I don't know. The convenience of like sitting at your computer and having to stare and like click refresh over and over. And I feel like that used to be the case when the convenience fee was the other option was like, remember on like Fridays at places, Ticketmaster would go on sale and you could either
Yes.
wait in line or it's like you could pay the convenience fee of not having to do that and basically or having to go to a box office. But it's like that's such an outdated charge.
Yeah. You know what? Instead of calling it a convenience fee, if your $50 ticket really is $75, just call it a $75 ticket instead of trying
Yeah.
to play with the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know how it is for you, but I have had more and more friends lately have a lot of success like waiting very last minute to buy tickets through either like an app, I think it's called Game Day or like StubHub
Mhm.
or one of those. Like I had friends that just went to go see the band Imagine Dragons yesterday at the Hollywood Bowl and they knew they're like we wait like a couple hours before the show. Like they came up to LA knowingly they didn't have tickets, and then sure enough, they were able to get like insanely good seats for way cheaper just right before because they knew that people were like offloading them. And I've heard more and more people do it that way where they just have faith in the system and they wait like very, very last minute. Except I don't think that would work for Taylor Swift because I think you have tens of thousands of people trying to do the same thing. But I feel like for the B and C level concerts, waiting last
Mhm.
minute may be like a better way to even pay less.
You know what? That's actually not a bad idea because I've heard a lot of people do get great deals doing it like that. And if you're flexible, you
Yeah.
know, it's definitely worth taking a look into because you may not have nothing going on. So, well, there's a concert or whatever event that's happening in a day or two. Let's check it out and see.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think as far as people like stealing their tickets at Ticketmaster, that is such a pain. And I think it seems like the Taylor Swift situation just caused so much pandemonium of just tickets getting frozen, tickets getting stolen, and then people showing up. I heard that too, that people showed up and then by the time they even like got into the show, it was already like halfway, like she had already come onto the stage, which is just so sad too, because I know like half of the fun is, the minute that the artist hits the stage. So it's like that's just and it was because of a Ticketmaster issue.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely not cool, but it could start hurting. For Taylor Swift, I don't think it'll be for her,
No.
but some artists, it could hurt. It could hurt their audience as far as be like, you know what, it's not even worth it. I'll just skip it.
Yeah, yep. I just said like the artist Alanis Morissette. Yolanda
Yes.
says, I love her so much, and she just announced her tour dates. Like, she's someone who I repeatedly go see. Like, I love her so much, and I've seen her like a whole bunch of times. And she just announced that she's playing in like Denmark and Sweden, and I'm really trying to get my one of my like best girlfriends to go. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm like, because I feel like I need a reason to be able to travel abroad, like for sometimes. So I'm like, if that's the concert we go to, but something tells me there'll be a lot of tickets left to go see Alanis Morissette in Denmark. But I don't think I'll be beating like 100,000 people, but who knows?
Hey, that'd be a great trip. You can write that off as a business expense. It's
That's
like, hey,
true. See, there you
you're
go.
probably trying to get some material or something. I need to go take a look at different areas. Hey,
See, exactly. So just think if I'm in Sweden one week, we'll be live streaming at like 2 a.m. my time with like Swedish people in the background. I think that'd be amazing.
There you go.
So if we have any Denmark or Sweden listeners, hit me up. Let me know what's good.
There you go.
Okay, well, my last one for today is all about Starbucks. So I thought this was super interesting in terms of business and CEOs and the future of just on-demand coffee. They have a new CEO, Brian Nickel, and he's pretty much trying to change the dire state that Starbucks is now in. They released their sales, and it had really been like slumping. Their global sales has fell by 7%. And their quarter has just been not good. And I think people account that to their overly complex menu. The difference of like staffing levels and what they have on the menu is kind of like at a disparity. So people come to visit and they're trying to add and like change everything, but they're just trying to take this new CEO is trying to take it back to the basics and like just say, let's focus on giving people simply good coffee, and like instead of trying to do every single promotion known to man, let's take it back and just like focus on what we're really good at instead of trying to give people like hundreds of options of 2 pumps of this, 1 pump of that, and see if that helps at all. So I think that's like super interesting. And I was just talking to a friend about this who owns an ice cream place, and they're putting in those like self-serve kiosks where you could like go and say what you want. And they were saying that those actually make more money because people add more additions when there's not like a human in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about Starbucks is kind of doing the opposite now, where they're like taking it back to kind of more like traditional type of, coffee making.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, anytime where you offer a customized product, you're going to build in costs for that.
Mm-hmm.
Product, whether it be, the product itself, it could be labor, it could be a combination of the two. And, I watch Starbucks workers work, and, I want this caramel latte and this. I don't really speak Starbucks very well.
You're not getting like 2 pumps of grande venti, like, yeah.
Do you want a grande? Do you want this? Okay.
Yeah, you're like, yes to all of it. Yeah.
Talk regular English. What's a large? They just laugh at me.
Exactly. Like a large black coffee is fine.
And, sometimes you can kind of overdo it too, because yes, it's cool and nice and fine to be able to offer all these customs and other things, but it kind of makes it hard to really compete with other coffee brands, when you're that, to me, from a business point.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems like, good for Starbucks. I know here in LA, they've had to close a lot of just the brick and mortar locations because of like a lot of the homeless issues, outside of Starbucks, especially in like Hollywood downtown. It gets really crazy with just like, because I think it's one of the places that used to offer like bathrooms that were plentiful and like water. And I think now a lot of people don't want to go in those places because it's like, I feel bad for the workers. I feel bad for the homeless people. It's just, I know LA has taken a big hit on the number of Starbucks that are like actually open. And I've heard that with like Seattle and some different locations too, that they've had to close them down. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah. Starbucks is one of those things that aren't going away, but they may have to just take another look at how they run their business.
I know. We say that now, but remember, I feel like somewhere at one point they were like, Blockbuster is one of those things that's never going away.
No, that's true.
Right?
That is true.
Wait till we all get our like robot coffee makers. What do you? Wait, I forgot. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I do.
I feel like I'm pro instant coffee lately.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like people shouldn't knock it, and I feel like there's different kinds to try, but I feel like instant coffee gets a bad rap because I feel like people think that like grandmas and grandpas drink it, but I feel like it's so cheap and you can really like manipulate it to how strong you want. And I feel like there's a lot of instant coffees now are stepping up their game. So I'm here to tell everyone, just give an instant coffee a try. You could I would recommend sampling a few different ones to see which one is right for you. And there's some ones on TikTok that have some really good suggestions, but yeah.
That's a good point because I know for me, I use my Keurig. Um,
You do?
I used to get coffee out all the time, but once the prices start creeping, like this is ridiculous. So I've
Yeah.
gone ahead and
Yeah. For
I make
real.
my coffee at home now. Because
Yeah,
it's
me
just so
too.
much cheap. It's
I
so
do
much
too.
cheap.
The other day, I swear, I got like two. I got it out, and it was I got vanilla and like a almond milk, and they charged extra for. And my coffee was like 11.68 or something. I'm like, I need this is like a movie ticket. Like I need to calm down. And I'm like, why am I? And I got like really bad acid reflux after it too. And I'm like, I need to really take control of my life. Like, this is falling apart. I'm drooling. I'm drooling.
Yeah, that's true. Convenience doesn't always mean cheap, right?
No, no. So now, like honestly, instant coffee makes me so happy because you don't have to go through it. It's for lazy people. You could make it at like 5 in the morning. It's perfect.
Yeah, this isn't on the topics, but hopefully everyone's being careful out there with those McDonald's burgers right now.
Oh my gosh, I know. I mean, that's so much like E. coli and Listeria recalls, and it's like it's really weird out there.
It's extremely weird. I mean, the sad part is, Meryl, that you know, fast food is definitely not the most healthiest food to eat,
Yeah,
but used to be good and quick and cheap. Well, one, it doesn't taste the way it used to. Second,
yeah,
it's very expensive. So it's like if you're spending the money on this fast food, hell, you might as well go get a real plate at a regular restaurant.
yes, yeah. It's really like it's weird that we really that food is at an all time highest expense, and yet like the poison is also there too.
Hmm.
Not right,
That's
not right.
true. Well, Meryl, what do you have coming up?
Oh my God. Some Halloween plans. If anyone is in Hollywood on October 29th, I'll be at part of a show at a venue called the State Social House. And it's we're mandated to wear costumes. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know what I'm going to be yet, but
Nice, nice.
so that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm actually going to a Halloween party I told you about myself, and yeah, I think I am definitely going to be a Chicago Bear.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Please take pictures. We want to see it.
You know what? I will definitely do that.
Okay, good. The people want to see it. By people, I mean at least me.
Yeah, I'll have that on probably the next show or the show, probably the next show because this Saturday. So yeah, it'll be fun to see.
How come? Feel free if you don't want to share this with everyone, but you said you're going by yourself. How come your wife's not going?
Nope, she's going.
Oh, she's going. Okay, good. Oh, I thought you said you were going by yourself. Okay, good.
She wasn't gonna go at first, but I'm like, come on, have some fun.
Good. She should go.
Yeah.
Is she going to dress as like a Chicago Bear too, or something? Or
No, she's gonna dress up. I'm trying to think. I want to say she's gonna dress up as a biker chick, I think.
oh, cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, interesting pair. Chicago Bear and biker chick walking in.
Why not? I've seen weirder pairs.
This was a lot of fun today.
Yeah, this was super fun. Thank you, and thank everyone.
Thank everyone for watching, and also too, great news. I have my shirts for my cooking show, so
Woo!
I will be taping that, so I could go ahead and put that on. So that'll be real soon, and I'll be giving out some previews of my first show coming out. So I'm very excited about that.
I can't wait. In perfect time, as we just said, like it's getting better and better to cook at home, and I think cooking at home is like really cool and fun and easier than I think people think.
It is, and a lot of people are intimidated by cooking, but really, it's a lot of fun, and you don't have to overly do it
Right.
because there's a lot of basic recipes that I have that you could do very quick. They're very delicious, and it's a lot healthier and a
Yes.
lot less expensive than going out. And
Yeah.
even if you don't know how to cook, trust me, everyone could cook the meals that I'm gonna be putting out.
Exactly. And I've learned over like the past year or so that cooking more at home doesn't mean that like I'm not having restaurant experiences because I love restaurants. If anything, it means that I go out to restaurants less, but I like appreciate them more when I go because I'm actually going and spending money on like food that I want to go to or restaurants because I used to
Mhm.
just like go and mindlessly do that. But yeah, it's cool.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yay! Well, congratulations on that. I really want a t-shirt, but yes, as well.
Thank you. Actually, you know what? I am going to talk to you about that because I'm going to definitely get you guys some t-shirts. I tried this new place out, so I wanted to see how they come first. because everything looks great online until you get them. So I wanted to get them first.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it's pretty cool. And like I said, yes, you and Kristen will be getting some shirts.
Woohoo! Cool.
Well,
Well,
everyone,
thank you.
oh, no problem. We had a great time. Again, make sure that you support us. Let people know who we are and to come see us. And also, if you want to watch this and other programming, elrodtvnetwork.com. And also make sure that you follow Mara Klimo. And whenever she's out and about, support her.
Yes, I'm like a seal where I'm like, please take a picture with me, but not too close, or else I'll snap.
Everyone, have a great day. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
All right.
Yay.